boy, do I got a zinger for you here today. I got us a firecracker on here that's going to tell us they're going to speak social media blasphemy. They're going to say that Pinterest is easier than Instagram. Oh, I'm feeling beside myself. How dare they attack the holy grail of Instagram? It'll be fun. It'll be fun. My guest on here today is going to be making the argument that because of competition and longevity, that it's actually easier to make long-term sales on Pinterest than on Instagram. Holy moly. So come, roll up your sleeves. Let's go ahead and jump into it. As I'm sure if you have an option that has less competition and possibly more effective than Instagram, you probably want to know about it, don't you? But I find that most people don't know about the old Pinterest, even though there's 537 million monthly users. Holy moly, did you know that? Did you know that? And so my guest today, she is just a rock star. She was just voted one of the top 10 influencing entrepreneurs in the nation. She's helped thousands of entrepreneurs take their existing content that they've already made, repurpose it magically, smack it on Pinterest, and actually start driving daily sales 24 hours a day. It lasts a whole lot longer because it's actually a search engine than a social media. You may know her from our reality show called Play to Win. She did very, very good on there. And we really got to see that competitive side of her. It was really awesome. And so please, and she's also, I'm very grateful, she's one of our faith and finance clients. Please help me welcome Kim Ward. Kim, how are you?
Hey, Ray. Oh my gosh. Wow. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
I don't know if I should
absolutely.
bring my boxing gloves now or just my
Yeah,
gratitude chain. I'm not sure which.
there are some people clutching their pearls when I said that Pinterest might be easier for sales than Instagram. So yeah, we're getting our IG peeps upset, I think. So talk
You'll love
about it.
us.
Like,
You'll love us after this. Don't get mad.
okay, good,
Yeah.
good, good. So talk about it. Like, how'd you stumble upon Pinterest?
Yeah.
Why Pinterest? Isn't that just for cute pictures and wedding showers or
Yeah,
something?
man. It's totally just for recipes and hair, skin, and nails, all that kind of stuff. It's amazing. We'll look at the Pinterest feed and you're going to see huge corporations like Amazon, US Bank, Fidelity, Keebler, right? Huge, huge, huge corporations spending their time and their advertising dollars on Pinterest.
Mhm.
So it's like to say to people, what do they know that you don't? And it's all about your ROI. It's all about the return on investment for your time and
Mhm.
maybe your advertising dollars. But for most entrepreneurs, the organic marketing is enough where we don't have to necessarily go into some ad spend. Truth be told, 2020 hit and I was working with a financial coach at the time and she leaned in on a Zoom and said, "Hey, Kim, I've got a question for you. And I want to ask you this as well, because for me, it rattled me, kind of like the prayer you gave me this morning." And she said, "What would you do if you were unable to physically work your business for 4 consecutive months?" And just sit with that for a second, because most people don't understand leverage.
Right.
And that's the moment I knew I had retired my husband. I'm a caregiver for my dad. And I said, wow, man, like I've created a full-time job for myself at home. There was no leverage.
Right.
And I went down this rabbit hole and I was like, yes, of course, video marketing is incredibly leveraged. Of course, speaking is incredibly leveraged. Blogging is leveraged. That takes time, of course. And if you're sick or if something happens, you're not going to be pumping out video. So I found Pinterest and I went and completely just became a master. It takes, 10,000 hours to master a skill.
Right.
And I think I'm at like 50,000 hours at this point.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. I went just head in and I said, okay, we're going to do this. So I started pinning and I started to notice it's more than exposure and eyeballs and numbers, right? The views are great. Those can be vanity metrics. On Pinterest, you can make sales. You can drive traffic into your ecosystem and create what I call your virtual spider web. 24/7, 365, while you're living life in anywhere with no followers. So I started to do that.
With no followers.
0 followers needed.
Wow.
Ironically, we know things don't happen for a reason. I mean, they do happen for a reason. Let me correct myself. I got hit hard at the tail end of that year with a virus that caused a global pandemic, and I was down for 25 days. but I had already set up my ecosystem on Pinterest. So what had happened was while I was down and my husband was doing the grocery shopping and everything, he didn't have to check our checking account. The leads were still coming in. My digital products were still selling. The cash register was ringing daily, Ray, daily. It's those micro sales that add up.
Yeah.
Lo and behold, I set myself out on a mission to help every other, network marketer create that kind of freedom and leverage.
Yeah. I'm willing to bet, not that people think about this kind of thing, but if most influencers were knocked down for 25 days, their income would greatly reduce and their income would plummet and they would get into a pretty tough spot. Because if you're not doing those reels and doing the lives and everything. And so that's really powerful. So where does someone start if they're hearing what you're saying? I'm like, this makes sense. I would like that too. Where does someone start?
Well, I put together a beautiful PDF, an ebook, a huge ebook for them. But truth be told, you can create a Pinterest business account, right? You just go to business.pinterest.com. You create your account. It's completely free. And the one thing that I love, love, love is, that faceless marketing became such a rage last year and everyone wanted to do faceless this and faceless that. Let me tell you a secret. Pinterest has been faceless since its inception. It's not a new concept, right? We can head over to Canva. We can use a pin template that Canva has made for us, brand it to ourselves. Boom, we've got ourselves a Pinterest pin. We never had to show our face once. I do believe in building that personal brand. So I'd love to give some tips for you. And we will share that 2025 playbook with you because I've put together this massive but simplified 16-page playbook for you to be able to flip through almost like a manual and say, okay.
Now, if someone like is totally ignorant of Pinterest, they have no clue what that even is, they're going to have to Google what is Pinterest. Will they be able to walk through this playbook, or is this more for the seasoned veteran or someone who's at least a little familiar with Pinterest?
I've really set this up for every skill level, regardless of kind of where you're
Okay.
at in the season, which is such a great question. Because like we kind of laughed at in the beginning, a lot of humans still have some major misconceptions about Pinterest. I need a blog to be successful. That's fake news. No, you don't.
Or a podcast. First it was the blog, then it was podcast.
No, you don't. And if you have those business assets like Instagram is a business asset. And we recently connected, your Instagram with your Pinterest account. And many people don't know that you can even do that. So if you're here on Instagram and you are cranking out those reels and you're putting a lot of effort into the Instagram channel, why not create and establish your Pinterest presence? And in just a few clicks of a button, you can integrate your Instagram channel and all of your content will immediately pull into Pinterest for you. So we talk about simplified. It doesn't get any simpler than that. And like you said, with the 537 million monthly active users, that's the operative word. They have to log into the system and show some type of activity to be categorized as an active user. Well, that's what's the percentage of what's the odds that 0% of them are going to need what you have or looking for what you have? So imagine your Instagram content being immediately pulled over, being displayed to these 530 million global users. And Pinterest and Google are like best friends. The CEO of Pinterest came from Google. So they understand what it means to, Bill Reedy, amazing guy. And he brought a lot of his team over from Google. So every single pin that you create, regardless of whether it came from Instagram or not, is indexing in the Google search engine as well. And there's 99,000 Google searches every single second. So now we're talking extreme leverage.
Wow. One thing, because we've discussed, you helped me with my Pinterest strategy because I didn't have one before you. And one thing that you pointed out, which I think it'll actually train you to be a better entrepreneur, is that, hey, don't just go there with BOGO sale today. Like BOGO sale today is great for stories and great for some social media things, but you get your most impact like months down the road. But that actually trains you to be a better entrepreneur because you have to think, okay, what can I continue selling months down the road? What can I talk about today? But 3 months from now, I'm still able to sell. I still want to sell. You would never ask yourself that on Instagram or Facebook, really, because it just, it just goes away and no one
Yep.
pays attention to it. But you actually get the most bang for the buck months after you start posting, I think. Is that correct, or correct me there?
Absolutely. A lot of people, like you're saying, we show up to Instagram or we show up to Facebook. And I hate to say it like this, and I don't mean it in a disrespectful way, but there's a lot of people growing what I'll call an accidental business. We
Mhm.
talk about this a lot inside of the Rank Makers community, where every Monday you give us these action steps. And it's like, okay, what are we thinking? And that lens usually carries most people through the week. We come over to Pinterest and we're thinking in terms of the quarter. What is our
Yeah.
quarter? What does this projection look like? What am I marketing now? January 27th, February, March, April, we're pinning for things that are going to pop, rank, and index right now in April. So it does take 90 days for the algorithm and for the Pinterest platform to really understand who do you want to be in front of. And this is a good thing. And I will tell you why. So expect, I called it IGM, right? Instant gratification mentality. This is not the place for
Yes.
you.
Yes. Some people are like 90 days, I'm out.
I'm
But they've been
out.
struggling for years, right?
Yeah.
They've been struggling for years, but no, I can't wait 90 days. I need it tomorrow. Well, you're not making a lot of sales today or tomorrow, probably. And so, like, why not set something up that, like,
Absolutely.
will work
It'll
for
pay
you
you
long
for
term?
months and years. All right, I'll tell
Yeah.
you, my husband and I, we were able to write our Pinterest account into our will because we
Wow.
generate so many leads and we have those micro sales come in and the rest of our ecosystem grows, that virtual spider web, that's part of our legacy for our child.
Wow.
So we were able to write that into our will. This is what I want for you. If it's going to feed you for months and years to come,
Yeah.
divorce that instant gratification mentality and say, okay, yes, it's going to take me 90 days for this pin to index. However, with the 537, we're growing rapidly because I said to Ray, oh, there's 522 million. He's like, well, nope, there's not. There's 537. I was like, dang, okay. So imagine that you're creating this content. Yes, it takes 90 days to index, but 12, 18, 24 months down the road, you're still generating leads and your pins are still driving traffic to wherever you pinned them to.
Which just doesn't happen like hardly anywhere
No.
else. Do you have a fun story, like something you posted a million years ago that's still
I have so many. I have so
okay?
many. So I'll tell you, I have a very good friend of mine. Now that we're in 2025, this one pin, ready for this? She pinned it 15 years ago. 15 years ago. And we know through what's called Pinterest tags, we get great metrics, great data, great analytics over there. So we're able to track these kinds of things. 15 years later, we're going to back up 15 years. She had this pin. She knows, right? We have to speak to our audience. You want to speak to that singular person, not the masses of people. It's one of the great lessons that I
Sure.
learned from Play to Win experience. And you want to meet them where they're at, right? Talk to them about their pain, their problems, their desires. You're the solution for that. Your program, your product, your opportunity is the solution for that. So when you understand how to talk to them, they're going to click on your stuff. She decided to put a little $10 ad budget behind this pin. And she saw very quickly. So with Pinterest, a little different than Facebook. When you do this ad, right? You run an ad, it also goes into the organic algorithm faster. So it's not like an FYP page where people are like, what the heck am I seeing this for? I don't want to see this. No, no, no.
Yeah.
Pinterest only shows content to people who are already searching for that type of content. So rest assured, your content will always be placed in front of the people who are always looking for it, already looking for it. That's score number one. So she saw that this pin took off like crazy. So she shut down that ad before her $10 budget was up. 15 years later, she's driving between 300 to 500 people a month to her website and still making monthly sales.
From that one post.
15 years later, the same pin.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's
You
pretty
see how
cool.
I'm excited? This is
Yeah. So tell us about, you put together this playbook, right?
Yes.
So people know what to post, what's working right now. Tell us about this playbook. So you can, if you would like to check it out, you can at higdongroup.com/Kim Playbook. higdongroup.com/Kim Playbook. So tell us about it. What is it?
It's really important to me that whether this idea of Pinterest is new to you or maybe you've been using it as a consumer and you didn't know that this was available for you in your business. I wanted to put something together that you could genuinely work through and divorce the overwhelm, the
Mm.
perception of overwhelm, because it's a new language. It's a new concept for a lot of people. And I've seen it time and time again where you get really excited, you start your pinning, but then again, you're waiting those 90 days and you're just like, oh, it's never going to happen. So you stop doing what's working. We're planting invisible seeds right now. And so I took this playbook in a way where I asked myself, Kim, how would you like to learn? And I don't think I left any stone unturned. It's
Mm.
Pinterest A through Z, but in a non-overwhelming way. And there's tons of resources. There's tons of links that take you back into Pinterest directly if you need, some questions answered. So it takes you through, how do I start my account? How do I create an effective account? How do I pin with efficiency? Because that's what we're looking for. We're talking about mileage and longevity with your content. And it's 16 very meaty pages. I don't think I left any space on those pages.
Nice. So most people, I'm willing to bet, are like, oh, I'm already overwhelmed with all that I'm trying to keep up with Instagram and Facebook, and how do I have time for this whole new thing? And I'm just, curious on the whole. I've got to keep up with Instagram and TikTok and Facebook and everything, this whole new thing. But knowing that on most other platforms, you only have, a little bit of time for someone to see it.
For sure.
And so talk to me about that. Like, how much time, so if someone gets the playbook and they're very limited on time, how much time will they need to dedicate to actually make this thing work?
I would say minutes a day. Let's say
Minutes a day. Come
less
on.
than 12 minutes a day. And I'm going to tell you why. I love
Come on.
challenge. So here's the deal, right? Maybe 15 minutes to set up your account, maybe 15 minutes to set up your profiles. Now we're at a half an hour. But what you just said, Ray, I know that you have content on Instagram, on YouTube, on Facebook, on TikTok. What if I told you that you could go to your YouTube channel and you go to any one of your public videos or your public shorts and you just hit that button that says share? We've all seen that.
Yeah.
And you scroll over to find the Pinterest icon. If you've got your Pinterest account up, you can share with 2 clicks of a button your YouTube videos and your shorts over to Pinterest.
Mm.
Every single pin, no matter how good or how sucky you are, lives on average for 4 months. Every single pin.
Wow.
Beautiful, beautiful thing. So again, like I said, you can integrate your Instagram account so that your Instagram content and your reels automatically pull over. If you have a TikTok presence, I know that we'd go through the days of scrubbing the TikTok watermark off so that we could repurpose those short videos to Instagram. And now TikTok allows us to download them without the watermark. Pinterest is not a social media platform with envy. It's a search engine who knows her power. So I'm going to tell you, if you were to go over to Pinterest and search for what we call a keyword of TikTok reels or TikTok videos, there's millions of monthly searches for those keywords because the Pinterest consumers are so loyal to that platform. They don't go to TikTok, but they want to see what
They use Pinterest to search TikTok.
Exactly.
Wow.
So you should be downloading those TikTok videos with or without the watermark and simply repurpose them to Pinterest.
Wow. That's amazing.
So when I tell you minutes a day, this is where we
Give me all
build that.
kinds of ideas, by the way.
I'm telling you, as I see you writing, I'm like, buddy,
Yeah.
you've got me at your disposal, so you don't have to
Yeah.
write.
Yeah.
But
Wow,
I
that's
hope
awesome.
you're seeing, the power of Pinterest. And truly, this is just a glimpse of what we could do. Can I tell a very quick story?
Sure.
I've got this great friend in Australia. She says she sells hemp oil for dogs. And she grew a Facebook group of over 6,000 members. Ray, I have no idea how long this took her to grow, but we know the blood, sweat, and tears that goes into that kind
Sure.
of. And we don't know what happened. But one day she woke up to Facebook sending her a message saying, your Facebook group is shut down.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I've had something like that happen.
I feel it. So she went to bed that night. There's no phone number to call. There's no email address to call Facebook. Say, hey, sorry, I have a concern. No, she had to click a button that says, I want to appeal this decision. And she went to bed that night with utmost confidence that when she woke up in the morning, her group would be restored. When she woke up the next morning, not only was her group not restored, but they shut her her personal profile down as well with a message that said, don't even think about creating another profile within 6 months.
Jeez.
She sat in her feels for weeks. And I think, the fleshy side of us, we would all do that as well, kind of licking our wounds a bit. And she came to me and said, do you think Pinterest would work for my business? And I don't mean this in a cocky way, but I said, you show me any business and I will show you how to make it on the Pinterest platform. I mean, I've worked with Olympian athletes. I've worked with professional athletes and everyone from the solopreneur, stay-at-home mom, everything in between. This is my favorite story because we know it takes 90 days for your pins to index. So we started pinning. And again, everything you do, you want to keep your ideal human in mind. Where are they at? What's the pain? What's the conversation going on in their mind? Because if you understand that, you know how they search. You know how they search Google. You know how they search Pinterest. And again, those two are kind of one and the same. If you've ever Googled something and you saw a Pinterest pin pop up, you might not have considered it until now. Now you're going to start noticing that. Within 4 weeks, we're on a group coaching. I'm about to end the Zoom and she very nonchalantly, this is my horrific Australian accent. Don't slay me here, people.
Here it comes.
But she said, I've just had my first $1,000 day. And I was like, hold up. What do you mean you just had your first $1,000 day? You had a group of 6,000 members. Surely you've had to have $1,000 day before. Nope, never happened. That week, she closed out her, just from Pinterest. This is the only platform she's using at this point. She closed out sales doing $2,003 that week. The very next week, she did another $2,000. So month one, just 4 weeks into her pinning journey, closed out $4,003 in sales.
And she had never done that before. All of her other That's impressive.
Never done it. The next month, we did $5,869 in sales, almost $6,000. Then she got an invite from Australia to the UK to dog sit for 6 weeks. And she said, of course, this is what she does. She loves it. She got wildly sick. I mean, wildly sick. She couldn't even lift her head off her pillow.
Oh, man.
You know what? From sick in bed with her head on her pillow, she did $4,000 in revenue without creating any new content.
Wow.
That's the power of Pinterest.
Wow, that's awesome.
It works when you aren't.
Wow.
And the next month she came back and said, I'm going to come back with a vengeance and do 12,000 in sales. And I said, you're crazy. That's never going to happen. She did 11.5.
Wow.
So in her first 5 months on the platform with hemp oil for dogs, she closed just about 25,000 in revenue.
That's amazing. Awesome. Awesome. Well, hey, if you're on here, did this open your eyes today? Give some love to Kim for coming out here early in the morning and sharing some stuff with you. And then if you are wanting to blow this thing up, she's got a playbook, very simple. Is it $1,000 or how much is it?
Oh, it's 27.
$27. So $27. Boy, after those stories, I think that sounds like it's worth it. You can check it out. Check it out at higdongroup.com/Kim Playbook. higdongroup.com/Kim Playbook. Kim, deeply appreciate you. You're awesome. I love sharing with people completely different ways to generate money for their business and go use that for whatever calling them to. So give her some love. And if you do want to check out her playbook, higdongroup.com/Kim Playbook. And so appreciate you. Thank you, Kim. You're amazing.
Thank you so much. I'll see you on Pinterest.
And so appreciate you. All right, Kim. Bye, guys. See you.
Bye.